is there. And of course, we have that big picture coming out, 2012, where of course the government knows it's almost the end of the world, but they're not going to tell everybody because they have their own underground bases. What's going to be like? Well, everybody's going to die. And it's by the people who did Godzilla and The Day After Tomorrow, the big disaster picture people. And they actually have this website where it looks like it's this group trying to stop it. And people have actually sent it to me like it's a real website. No, folks, it's a promotion for the film. Go ahead.
And the other thing I was going to say is my cleaning lady told me both this week and last week that she was listening to one of the news radio programs, stations here in Chicago, and they keep harping on how everybody should have at least 2 weeks of supplies of everything on hand. Food, water, your medications, everything. You should always have at least 2 weeks or more on hand. And that, and this is, we're talking mainstream radio. And
well, I think they're gearing people up for mass quarantines. I mean, that's what it says to me. If they do go to WHO level 6 and they say that this is a true pandemic and people say no to the vaccination, which we know they will, by their own polling, they said less than 30% would take it. You read into the study, it's 18%. It's less than 20% would willingly take a swine flu vaccination. Well, that doesn't bode well with the powers that be. They want to see over 50% take it. And if they get any less number than that, you can bet that they'll try to have UN or, military troops, National Guard on the streets, and they may quarantine certain areas, and they're saying, hey, have your supplies. The government loves you, but we got to keep you in your house for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I thank you for the call, and I really appreciate what you said. Let's go to Ronald in Maryland. Ronald, you're online. Yes, Ronald.
Hi, what's going on, Jason? I've been listening to your show for quite a few months, and just to touch base on that 2012 revelation that everyone's freaking out about. I mean, I agree with you. That's probably the end of the world, but who knows?
I don't think it's the end of the world, by the way. Don't agree with me on that. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think they're hyping it up into the end of the world.
I think it's going to be at 2012 is when the Mayan calendar ends, and it's going to be the point of time when man considers himself as a higher being. Or
I've heard that too. We'll see if it happens. Listen, I'm all down with the evidence that there might be a polar shift in 2012. Yeah. But beyond that, I've seen the latest documentary put out by Disinformation. It's some of the stuff is excellent. The rotation of the planets and that kind of stuff is very, very interesting stuff. Yeah. And then even the Mayan predictions are something else. I've had Jim Mars in studio and we've discussed it on and off air. I just don't put that much credence into it. I kind of take the zeitgeist approach again in that, they expect a coming of a new age. They are into this astrology. That is the age of Aquarius. But if you really look at it, it could come anywhere from 2000 to 2050. There's no way of possibly knowing. And, that date, December 22nd or 23rd, whatever it is, 2012, I won't be holding my breath the night before. I guarantee you that. I thank you for the call, brother. I got to jump. Let's go to Kelly in New Hampshire. Kelly, you're on the line.
Hi, Jason.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Oh, that's good. About 2012, like the caller, not the last caller, but the caller before, I don't understand how somebody can be against religion and then I'll be hyped up about 2012 because 2012 is a religious thing. It's
kind of a religious thing, but I don't think that she was hyped up on it. I think that she just said that it's their number and that the elite keep going to that number and the mass media is really promoting that number. And I think her point was that in the ABC 2100, everything was good in 2009, and then they get to 2012, and the headline is the good old days, and the disasters really start happening in 2012, and that's when people start moving out of the suburbs, and global warming gets much worse, and peak oil starts to rear its ugly head. So I think that's the point that she was making. I think she's really just going on the fact that you're seeing 2012 all over the media right now.
Okay. Well, you cleared that up for me now. My question is about pollution and global warming, because pollution is real.
Absolutely. In fact, smog is real. Let me say this. I've flown into Los Angeles now probably a half dozen to a dozen times, and when you fly into L.A., you can see the smog. You can see it's polluted there. You can see that the air quality is not the best. You can see a haze on the sunniest of days. There is no doubt that smog is real, that pollution is real, that it's probably not great, that people are inhaling the air out there. But at the same time, it's not causing holes in the ozone layer. Okay, the CO2 emissions is not what's causing global warming. And those are the two main contentions. I mean, they have all sorts of emission standards in California already. Obama just passed that latest law where everybody in the country is going to have to get to those emission standards. We've had people from Harley-Davidson who work in the plants call up and say, hey, this is going to ruin our business. Every Harley-Davidson on the road right now is going to be street illegal, and it won't be, economically plausible for anybody out there to make them legal again. So what's going to happen is either they're going to take them off the road entirely or they're going to start charging people carbon taxes. Pollution is real. And that's the thing that bothers me, is that people don't understand that the same corporations that are literally polluting the planet are the ones that are pushing this green agenda. So you can't think that they're actually going to clean up their act. No, they're going to act like they clean up their act as the populace absorbs the majority of the expense of this green energy movement.
Right. Have you read the book Unlimited Wealth? And what do you think of that?
What's it called?
Unlimited Wealth, Paul Zane Pilsner.
Unadmitted Wealth? I have not read it. It's by Pilsner, you said?
Yes, it's called Unlimited Wealth.
Oh, Unlimited Wealth. No. Give me a little synopsis.
Okay, basically it's saying that the early alchemists, they believed that God would not would not put people on the planet without the planet's ability to support us, and that technology is the key. That any time, like back in the 70s, when there was that huge oil questions, they came out with the technology to have fuel injector cars instead of carbureted cars, and that took the cars' use of oil.
Well, let's just say this. The technology now exists right now and 10 years ago where electric cars were actually out on the street. I would encourage you to go check out Who Killed the Electric Car. What they did is they wouldn't allow people to actually buy these cars. They had to lease them. And at the end of the lease, they did not give them the option to buy. And in fact, they went and rounded them up. And anybody who wanted to keep their car and tried to, they were prosecuted in a criminal court. And then they took these cars and they literally crushed them all. And these were cars that back in the day were going, 85 miles an hour and getting 80 to 120 miles to one charge. And the technology is just so much better today. They don't want that for you. They don't want 0-point energy. They don't want anything that you could get off the grid with. They want total and complete control. And you will start seeing more and more smart cars, but at our expense and our job losses. They just deindustrialized the entire car industry in this country on purpose to bring in a North American union. Thank you for the call. We're going to come back. We're going to go to Chris and more. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas, prisonplanet.tv, Infowars.com.